Welcome card readers, April here on Tarot and Witchery with a handsy video going on here today. I wanted to share with you the decks that I am using during the cold months, kind of the winter season. We're now, approaching Imbolc in February, and it's a certain vibe for me. So I wanted to share with you the decks that I'm using. And I've actually got quite a few, starting off with the Deep Place Oracle by Ray Serafina Barker. Now, I've talked about this deck a lot, and I do have a deep dive coming out on this one. I just can't say enough about how much I really enjoy this deck and what it has to offer. I feel like it's just, first of all, I love the colors of it for this time of year. Although you see that it's colorful, there's kind of a rainy day sort of feel to it. Look at the seedling. And that's because it has kind of different areas of the self that it works with for you. And so you've got like these gray cards, these dark cards. Let's see if I can find. I love this, the Mountaintop. Such a great card. Such a great card. God, I wish I could find, whoops, the other one. But aside from that, oh, here's a lighter one right here. It's got different aspects of the self that it addresses. But look at how wintry that feels. Lineage. And this really is a time right now in this sort of womb space of the year that I'm thinking about my lineage. And I'm thinking about legacy as I move into the new year, right? So it's stillness. I just find that this deck never fails me, and what really makes it great, honestly, is the book. Whoops, as I've got everything spilling out everywhere all over the place, is the book. You don't have to use the book. You can certainly just contemplate, but the messages in here are really, really good. The one thing about this deck that is a little bit harder is just the way that it's organized. You'll have to look up the front, what's going on in the front, to find where it is in the book. But very deep, very soulful, very reflective, which is where I'm at this time of year. I'm reflecting. I'm going within. I'm now that we've had solstice, I'm starting to emerge. And so, but I'm still like, I'm underground. It's like that seedling that's covered. I'm not quite emerging. I'm in this blanket of self and reflecting. And this deck just does a great job of kind of giving me stuff to think about. And it really tends to call me out. If I'm in a dark place, it will call me out of that dark place. Not with toxic positivity, but by like, hey, get powerful about yourself. Okay. I'm sure you've seen this on a bunch of my videos lately. It's the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle by Serafina Yeshimesa. This has an incredible Nordic feel to it. It's kind of Odin-esque. It's just very Norse. I mean, look at this. Shadow of light, and then look at this back here. But she's not scared. She's actually reflecting. And it says demons, shadow self, and then the final word is integration, which this deck, and I've got a Before You Buy coming out on this one, or maybe it's already out, who knows? Probably not. But this is such a good deck. It's just so thought-provoking. And the colors are really welcome when it's gray outside, and yet there's something just so earthy about this deck. Again, it just calls me to myself, and it allows me to really feel my way into those places. Like, again, this is a time of kind of feeling like I'm still under the ground waiting to emerge like a little seedling. And so I'm kind of pawing around in the dark, my own dark, during this time of year. Not in a scary way, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to know myself in this way. So the Earth, Moon, and Shadows. The Shadows of Light. I'm working with this right now a lot because I'm doing the Before You Buy, where I'm contrasting the two of these. But this is a profound deck. It really, really is. It's new, so it's exciting, and I like that. I kind of need some freshness. I need some newness to kind of take me into some new spaces and authenticity, masks. This deck makes me question. It makes me question, and this time of year I want to be asking questions as I'm moving into the new year and I'm, starting afresh with Imbolc just on the way, Candlemas, whatever you like to call it. I want to be asking questions about who I am and how I want to be and what is it that I'm growing within myself. And this deck really does that. Perception, the Dreamer. Look at these just fabulous illustrations. So glad that I pushed yes on this Kickstarter deck. Look at this. Reciprocity, the Mother. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful images in this deck. Really, really quite a treasure. And I find that it's lovely during the winter months for me because, again, it's reflexive. But also this time of year that I'm at, these things fit so snugly in here. The time of year that I'm at right now I feel like right after solstice, I felt just a boom, the energy shift on the winter solstice. The day after, it was like night and day for me. So Shadows of Light by Haley Clare, it really makes me question and really look at myself in ways that I feel are comforting. It's comforting to feel like I'm looking at myself and seeing myself. The Magical Botanical Oracle by Maxine Miller. I don't know that I would always call this a winter deck, but it is a winter deck for me right now because I just got it. But honestly, I gotta tell you, it's kind of perfect because I've been wanting to plant some new herbs in my garden. Whoops, are they all gonna be like that? Yep. I've been wanting to plant some new herbs in my garden, and no, it was just that one. And so it's giving me a chance to really get to know these herbs and to think, well, I have wormwood in my garden already, the Artemisia. It's giving me a chance to get to know these magical herbs and to think about which ones I might want to be planting. And that's the perfect thing to be doing this time of year, getting out those seed catalogs and looking at what's going to go in here around the farm and what am I going to want to be harvesting? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to do anything with it? How many of you plant things and don't do anything with it? I've had plenty of years where I've had bumper crops of mint and never harvested a lick of it. So just kind of, getting me in touch with this, and the feel of this is the winter tones for me. I am a Maxine Miller fan. And Christopher Penzak wrote the book on this. He's just amazing himself. He's a real gem in the pagan community, the modern witchcraft community, I would say. And so I have these right outside my door, the Bleeding Hearts, right outside my door right now. They are dormant, but here I can read up on them and see all about their magical properties and what they might mean to me in this coming year. And so that's really fun. Again, this is a newer deck, and I will have a deep dive on this one because I am working with it. I'll be able to tell you a thing or two about it. The Magical Botanicals Oracle. You'll kind of notice I have a lot of oracles, and now here are my tarot decks. So, the Spirit Keepers Tarot. This is the Revelations version. We all know this is by Benabel Wen. I have not worked with this, so I'm going to be very careful not to take it out of order. You may say, well, why are you telling us about it? Well, because I'm about to start working with this this tarot, and studying it with a couple other fellow tarot tubers here come the new year here in January. So I'm looking forward to it. And doesn't it feel like winter to you? I mean, it's definitely her most colorful version of her tarot yet, and the most refined. This is her kind of, I think, third time doing this tarot and refining it. So I'm I'm excited to really work with this. And to me, that goes along with the excitement that comes after solstice too. Like as soon as January hits, it's kind of that lull of a month on the farm. It's a lot about assessing like what's going on with the ground. Where do we need to prune? Where have the trees fallen? And so this feels heady. We're in the element of air. Winter is the element of air, and this feels like a very headsy tarot, which tarot is an oracle. This feels like a very heady deck, and it feels like while I'm in this place of assessing what needs to be done, categorizing, making lists, this is the perfect deck to dive into. There's an incredible intellectual aspect to Benebel's decks, and so she's got that incredible book of maps, and we're going to be diving in deep and really looking at it. And I'm really excited to kind of take the energy of the winter time and study something, because it's a great time to study. This is a wonderful time to study. And I feel like whenever Imul comes around too, I'm ready to really begin something that started in my soul. So having this all January is going to be fabulous. All right. I'm never without this deck, you guys. The Super Lunaris. I'm going to do a deep dive on this one just because it's so great. I've showed it to you so much, but maybe you've never seen it. The Super Lunaris Tarot. It's my go-to. It is always around if I need to read and I don't want to think about it. I'm going to choose the Super Lunaris because I'm just going to be able to read it so easily. Oh, sorry. A bit of a yawn there. Yeah, it's so good. It's so close to a perfect deck for me anyway. You know how that is. Like, I just don't like every card in here. There's a couple that I'm just like, no, that one's awful. But for the most part, I love the diversity in this deck. I love this love this fool here. There's a spirit to this deck that just carries me so easily into my subconscious, and it lets me read with real ease. Of course, it's very Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. However, it's got older feel to it. It's got modern stuff in it. It's really all over the place. My favorite out of any deck ever. This is the best Two of Cups anywhere. One of my favorite cards, one of the cards that I check whenever I go to a deck. So of course I have this for winter because I always have this deck. It just kind of goes without saying, but I thought I'd put it in there because some of you might not have ever heard of the Super Lunaris, and it is still available on Etsy. I've got a link for it down there too. Lastly, this one right here, the Norris Tarot by Clive Barrett. Now, interestingly enough, my husband bought this for me years ago, got it off eBay. It's out of print. Don't try and get it. It will be very expensive. So you can kind of tell I've sort of got a Norse thing going on, and I think that's just because when I think of anything Norse, it just feels like way up winter, way up winter. And so it feels like getting up there into the snow and finding the aspects of yourself through the ruggedness of who you are. You know, really the ruggedness, the stark reality of the Norse myths. So what's really cool about this is the book that goes with it. And so unlike a lot of modern tarots today, you get the myths that go along. So on the Hanged Man, you're going to get Odin's sacrifice, and you're going to hear a little bit about that myth. And so it's kind of a neat one, and I haven't really used it. And so I thought I'm going to break it out, and I'm going to allow it to really speak to me and just kind of play with it. So it's my winter deck, my wintertime deck. I'm also reading some Norse tales right now that are really, really neat. So this is just kind of fun to tie that in and to feel those kind of meshing and to see how they come together. It's really gray in Oregon, and so it feels to me like the gray landscapes of up north, minus sans snow, that is. Sans lumi. Lumi is the Finnish word for snow and my granddaughter's name. Yeah, so, and look, it's just beautiful. It's so, so lovely. I really have enjoyed getting this out. I was trying to put it in order. It's not quite in order yet because I kind of want to just go through it in order, but like I said, I'm not quite there yet. As soon as I start breaking it out to put it in order, I get caught up in what's going on in there, man. I got to go look up that story. And that's kind of neat too, because it really kind of gets me reading stories. I don't know about you, but I love a good story. And this time of year, it's great to snuggle up with a book and really get into just reading a good story, fantasizing, and letting that fantasy take you into your life and what that might mean for you in your own real world. That's it. That's what I've got. I want to encourage you to check out my new channel, which is Natural Witchery. I know I announced it as Natural Witchcraft, but it's Natural Witchery because somebody took that handle. They don't have a channel, but they do have that handle. So I had to do, instead of Natural Witchcraft, I had to do Natural Witchery. And there's a link on the screen there if you want to check it out. Until we meet again, may this wintertime bring you into a place where you feel like you can rejuvenate, where you can rest, you can recuperate, and you can dream about everything that you are and everything that you want to be.